that
Right.
song. And hey, Bill, it's
Hey,
your turn. Let's go for it.
I'll start with something here. Okay.
Okay.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their heads as they see me ride by, but a little brown maverick is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is so busy it don't miss a tree, and an old weeping willow is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day. There you go.
Oh, what a beautiful day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And it is.
Um, it is a beautiful, actually, it is. The sun is shining and it is beautiful. That's, uh, that's what we want. Okay. So here is the Christ candle. Aha. And in the back, that's where, of course, I'm not doing it, holding it up. But anyway, yes. And Christ is the spark of the divine. What is Christ? The spark of the divine within us. This light is the light that connects us all.
Okay.
And now Bill is going to sing again. And he's going to sing what? Surely the presence and the Lord's Prayer. Thank you, Bill.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the light is in this place. I can feel her mighty power and her grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the light is in this place. And you would like the Lord's Prayer? I can do that. Okay, here we go. Our Father and Mother, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debt as we forgive our debtors, and leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
Oh, thank you, Bill. Thank you. And hi, friend Pat. Good to see you. I'm still having problems. Don't ask me, but I'm here. And I want to welcome you, Leosa, too. And yes, it's all good. So let's go ahead. Invocation, affirmation. This is what we are. There is only one presence and one power active in my life. God, the good, omnipotent. There is only one presence and one power active in Unity Clear Lake Center. God, the good, omnipotent. And finally, there is only one presence and one power active in our world. God, the good, omnipotent. And the mission statement of our church reflects our church. Unity Clear Lake Center is committed to loving all and empowering people to transform their lives through the practice of universal spiritual principles and the energy of God's love. And then the basic foundation of unity, 5 basic ideas. God is absolute good, everywhere present. Human beings have a spark of divine spirit within them, the Christ consciousness within. Therefore, they are inherently good. Human beings create their experience by the activity of their thinking. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Prayer is the process that affirms our connection with God mind and brings forth wisdom, healing, and everything good. And finally, knowing and understanding universal laws, also called truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth that he or she knows. Okay, Bill, it's your turn. Let's have some music.
This is about miracles. Early in the morning when I open my eyes and I see the dawn spread across the skies, there's just no way I can ever deny it's a miracle. Outside my window birds are singing, tree to tree I see them winging. Every new moment is sure to be bringing a miracle. It's a miracle that the flowers grow. It's a miracle that the breezes blow. It's a miracle that the rivers flow forever to the sea. It's a miracle that the rain comes down. It's a miracle that the world turns round. And the finest miracle I ever have found is a miracle of you and me. You can see it in the wings of butterflies. You can see it in children's eyes. So many little things make you realize it's a miracle. When summer turns to winter and the spring rolls round, little green things poke out of the ground. Every little piece of magic that you ever have found is a miracle. It's a miracle that the flowers grow. It's a miracle that the breezes blow. It's a miracle that the rivers flow forever to the sea. It's a miracle that the rain comes down. It's a miracle that the world turns round. And the finest miracle I ever have found is the miracle of you and me. Now in a world of war and hate and killing, I can understand why some aren't willing to look at life as a grand and thrilling miracle. But with all the suffering and all the pain and all the dreams that are dreamed in vain, people get back up and they try again. Now that's a miracle. It's a miracle that the flowers grow. It's a miracle that the breezes blow. It's a miracle that the rivers flow forever to the sea. It's a miracle that the rain comes down. It's a miracle that the world turns round. And the finest miracle I ever have found is a miracle of you and me. Is a miracle of you and me.
Wow. All right. Wonderful, wonderful. And of course, oh, here's those. Okay, folks. Now I am going to read the daily word on joy on this March 26th. And I think this is going to fit right in with Christi's talk. I draw my wellspring of joy. I draw from, my wellspring of joy. There are so many ways to express joy. I may speak words of praise that bring the awareness of even more blessings to mind. I may take joyful action, my every step aglow with the light of God, enlivening all I do, especially the child within me. I experience the same happiness whether I am in the heart of a busy city or in the stillness of nature. And then there is quiet joy of just being the richest soul of all. I rediscover my joy by taking slow, deep breaths, tapping into my wellspring of well-being that never runs out. I feel its energetic flow spilling over into my heart and life. What joy to be a spiritual being, a precious child of God. And from Luke 2:10, but the angel said to them, do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. For me, the most important thing about it, I rediscover my joy by taking slow, deep breaths as I, tap into my wellspring that never runs out. Yes, 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 yes. It's a good one. Okay, Christi. Okay, well, I looked down at my notes from, I don't know, a long time ago, because you actually started coming to our church in 2015. And yeah, I know. And during that time, you did so many wonderful talks and workshops. Oh my gosh. Where did I even put it? Oh my gosh, I was going to show some things. There were, maybe, oh yeah, here we go. How about this guy? I don't know, some sort of a felt thing. Anyway,
Yes,
we
yes.
did wonderful, wonderful workshops. Every time she came, and she was so beautiful and so wonderful. So anyway, very creative, of course. I think it was a roadmap of our lives. Oh yeah. Well, I've got a box full. Anyway, so today her talking about miracle manifesting, I think fits right in. And so I will mute myself and look forward to your talk, Christi. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Of course, I start coughing right when it's time, right? Excuse me. So my husband got a phone call from his brother, and he said, "Hey, have you ever felt like you won the lotto?" It's like, wow, what's he talking about? Well, let me do a little backstory before I tell you what happened. My son moved in with us during the pandemic. And during that time, he met his beloved. And during that time, he married her. And during that time, they moved in with us into our house. And it was really beautiful, but a little crowded. And we'd always thought about building a little granny unit. They now call them ADUs, accessory dwelling units, because I guess that's more, what do they call it? Better than saying granny unit now, right? But we'd always thought about it because we kind of had a big backyard and we kind of envisioned it, but it never like sparked in us the enthusiasm until our house got a little overcrowded and we go, wow, let's build an ADU, right? But where's the money going to come from? And that was my husband's question the whole time. Of course, I know that when I make a decision about something, especially something big like traveling the world, which my husband and I did for a year, as completing my graduate degree at a private graduate school, ending up debt free. Now, this isn't all about the money, but the money is the outpicturing of the ability to be free and creative, right? So here I am, I'm ready. We're going to build this, have built a granny unit, a ADU in our backyard, but where's the money going to come? So one of the things that's really important, I don't know if any of you know of Genevieve B. Rand and her book, The Invisible Power. It was written back in the 1920s, like all of those kind of powerful books were. And she said, leave no stone unturned. And so I did everything possible to make the ADU, not the money, but the little apartment back there for my son and his new wife. And my husband kind of follows on my shirt tails when it comes to creating miracles, but he knows that it happens. He's just like, he's the how guy. And I'll tell you, how can really stop your dream. But I just kept saying, I don't know, but what's our next step? So our next step was to get the drawings done and to get the architect and to apply for the permit and to get the contractor, right? And you act as if. And then I turned every stone that I knew of possible to look for funds for this. Now, I called my sister and I said, do you want to invest in this? And she goes, well, I'll loan you $15,000 to get started. And I went, okay, that's a good start. That got us the architect, all the things in place, right? So now I'm telling you for a reason. It's going to help you understand how to create miracles in your own life. So every time my husband say, but where are we going to get the money? And we get the estimate for this, and this is going to be like $200,000, right? To build this unit in the back. Where are we going to get the money? And I said, I don't know, but we're going to build this unit, right? And I found a short-term lender. It was a little scary because if you don't pay them back in a year, they own your property. I knew that was available to us. I knew there were things that we could do. But then, like I said, my husband, the doubter, gets a phone call from his brother that says, hey, you ever felt like you won the lotto? Now, his parents died 5 years ago. His 7 and 5 years ago. We cashed out on all of our inheritance and everything like that. There was none of that left as far as we knew. And he said, out of the blue, his brother said, 5 years after his mother passed, out of the blue, we have a payout of a life insurance policy, and it has no name attached to it from who it came from. It just said to him and his brother. So we assume it came from his parents, and it came from Prudential, but we had already gotten the payout from Prudential. So where's this money been, right? Where is it sitting? Well, maybe our power of belief was not strong enough until this moment. And so what made this powerful? We had a dream and a vision that we knew was a divine inspiration. And that was a powerful moment. And the money that we got from that out of the blue payout 5 years after the death of my husband's mother was twice as much as to build that ADU, that unit in the back of our, and we did that. And that was beautiful. And it was amazing. And our kids live back there. In fact, they just pulled up, backed into the driveway, and they're going to their own little unit there. Now, I went to one of my mentors and I said, it's really great. I can do this with these big visions. I can do it when I really got the almost impossible dreams to make them happen. But how? I want to know, that's a system. I want to know how to create that on an ongoing basis. So she actually took me through some guidance and some process. And I know that it was a divine download, that I downloaded 7 steps to creating miracles. And I realized that if I followed these on a daily basis, instead of just the big times that I wanted miracles in my life, that I could begin creating everyday miracles. And I also realized that this law had existed. So it is the law of miracles, right? It is the universal principle of miracles. And there were, tens of thousands of years ago, there was dinosaurs stomping on the earth. And guess what? That law of miracles existed back then. Just like the law of aerodynamics and gravity, but they didn't understand it. Once people understood the law of gravity and then the law of aerodynamics, we were able to fly, and it created freedom. That's what we are all looking for and longing for, is freedom in our lives, right? And because freedom allows us to be creative, to bring the divine presence through ourselves into the world, whether it's myself creative as the artist, or yourself creative as the helping other people, or doing accounting, or whatever else it is, right? So when I discovered this, when I discovered this, I did this for me. I wanted this to be able to help myself and my family. And one of my besties, she goes, "Oh my gosh, you've got to share this with everybody." And so when I started doing that, I knew about also, you remember the 100th monkey, or the butterfly effect, or all those things that say, once you have an idea, it's because there is a consciousness out in the world going on. And I knew as soon as I discovered this law of miracles, that the other people were probably discovering it too. And sure enough, I don't know if you know Jean Houston, the great anthropologist, but she sent an email, because I'm on her list. And it said something about manifesting. And so I listened to it. And sure enough, she says something about the law of miracles. And then all these other famous people, Marcy Sheramoff and other people there, all of a sudden, it's like everything is about miracles out there. How do you create miracles? And so I knew that I was on the right track here to help people, not for the sake of ego and not for the sake of self-indulgence, but to help us really evolve into having that closer walk with spirit. These 7 steps of creating miracles. Now, the first, so I'm going to put this in the chat. Bill, did the chat come up for you when I did it the way I did it? Okay, so this, I'm going to put it in the chat here. It's going to take me just a second because I don't know any other way to do it other than this. But this is the law of miracles. Now, I don't, 7 steps, I don't have the time to go through all of these now, but I'm hoping that you're able to download this. And I'm actually going to put it up on my screen right now. I love technology when it works, right? Okay, so here is the 7 steps, and you guys are going to recognize this because especially when you talked about about the spark of the divine, well, that step both, that's a little big here. See if I can make this smaller so you can see all of it. Okay, so there's the 7 steps, but I am going to kind of hone in here on that. And so look at, so the first one's vision, and I'm going to go back to that in a second because we've heard this over and over, but notice this little power of 2. It's times, it's exponentiated, it's greater than it's ever been before. You want to learn the new system of the exponentiated vision. Then sparkle, and you talked about the spark, you know, it's in your mission, right? The spark of the divine. Well, you have to ignite that spark, that sparkle, which is also number 4 down here. See, you are the divine in expression. That spark in you is meant to come here. And every struggle you experience and every discontent you experience is because you are not living from that spark of the divine. And so these 7 steps are really amazing. Okay, step number 1. And we say, oh, I've heard this, but it isn't. It's like, if you're not having this result in your life, you know about it, but you want to learn these, and then you need to repeat if you want to experience this truth. Okay, so vision, you must do it consistently, and I'm going to go back to vision. Sparkle, just you have to have that vibrancy of the vision. What's stopping you? That's the only thing that really is in our way. And then you are the divine in expression. And then speak only truth. And I know I've talked before about standing guard at the portal of your mind. Don't let anything cross your mind that you don't want to manifest. You know, I had somebody on the other day on the phone, on a Zoom call with me, and she was coughing, and she goes, yeah, I talked to my doctor. My doctor says, well, if you still have it in 3 months, come back. We'll worry about it then. And she's like, 3 months? I don't want to do that. I said, what if your cough became a prayer each time you coughed? Right? We take these negative things in life and we let them run us. Let's run them and turn them into and only speak. So when you cough, you say, bless my heart, or I am well, right? So we can do all kinds of things to speak only truth, stand guard at the portal. And you should be able to download this form from the chat. And ethnos is an amazing word. It means, the root word is from enthusiasm, right? And that's really important to have that enthusiasm, but it means the divine in expression or God in expression. Now, there's a difference between excitement and enthusiasm. Excitement usually comes from a bit of fear and a bit of unbelieving and maybe not so absolute, but enthusiasm comes from the divine in expression through our lives, right? And it also is around, this 6th step is around your intuition and like trusting yourself and believing in yourself. And then just do it. Right? We've heard the Nike, just do it, but I'm going to talk about just a few of these steps right now to help you understand the importance of it. Okay, so if you want to download that from the chat, I do believe you're able to do that. And if not, I'll send it to Barbara so she can send it out in the next newsletter or whatever that looks like. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about the vision. You know, it's like a lot of people say, well, I'm living in the present moment. Why should I be visioning? Well, here's why. Let me see if I can find this picture on my screen. Yes. You remember this guy? The Cheshire Cat. right? Well, Alice asked the Cheshire cat, would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here? And the Cheshire cat says, that depends a good deal on where you want to get to, said the cat. And Alice said, I don't care where, said Alice. And the cat said, then it doesn't matter which way you go. Now, you will be sent out into the world if you don't have a specific vision of where you want to go. It's like the roadmap. You will not have the roadmap of where to go if you don't have a vision for your life. Now, and because my bestie said you need to take this to the world, I'm actually now teaching a class on this, and one of the things that I talk about in there is to make sure every word of your vision is a highly calibrated word. Like you don't say, I'm going to try to do this. To try to do something is a doubt, and it's a way out, and it's not affirming, right? I am the woman or the man who is whatever your greatest heart's desire. Now, I've talked before here about your discontents and so forth, and that they can be a roadmap. This when we worked on the roadmap stuff to you finding out what is yours to do, right? So this is the importance of vision. You go hilly-nilly wherever, but I'll tell you, most of us have subconscious beliefs within us that say you're not worthy, or you don't do things right, or you're not deserving of. And our practice with the vision is to remember, like we talked about, the greater T truth, that Barbara mentioned in the principle or the truth. Okay, so watch my time here. So I wanted to go on to the idea that people say, well, Christi can do that, but why not me? Do you know how often I hear that? Why not me? Well, it's because of actually step number 3, which is what is stopping me. Because, and I'm actually going to draw here. I wasn't planning this, but I'm better at illustrating. So how we, come on, okay, there we go. How we see our life. This is the iceberg of our beliefs and thinking, but what we see is the tip of the iceberg, the things that happen to us right now. And we try to fix things at this level all the time. Oh, I don't have enough money. How am I going to get a job? Right? But really what's down here is we were told we weren't worthy enough. This is our subconscious. And we think it's not running us anymore. Or I always get fired, or, whatever those erroneous thoughts are under there that really keep us from succeeding up here. And we have to, and guess what? After we understand that, we don't have to go digging those things up. All we have to remember is to go back to the truth. I am a divine spark. The divine spark of the universe, of the divine, of God, is inside of me. So I'm not junk. I used to run youth camps around this kind of stuff. And we had a great song. It was called God Don't Make Junk. And that's so true. So why not you? Well, God doesn't choose favors. God doesn't even have that kind of volition, the law of the divine. It just says, we've heard this before, yes. But it also says yes to those subconscious thoughts that we don't know are running us. Once we understand that, we keep going, is this leading me in the direction of my joy? Coming up with the joy thing, right? Is this leading me in the direction of my joy and my life purpose? Or is it taking me away? And if it's taking you away, you take a universal principle, love, a love of self, whatever it is, and you replace it right then and there. And that's what step number 3 is. Whatever you need to do to learn to stop thinking you can't and watching your language. I was working with a family the other day, and the dad just kept saying the problem with my daughter is la 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 la, and the problem with what we're, and it's like, hey, how about opportunity? How about challenge? How about, like, let's pay attention to the vibrational frequency of our words to move through there. Now, step number 4 is that you are the divine in expression. I mean, how much clearer can we be about that? So how do we choose something new? Well, I was invited to do a meditation if I wanted to during this time. And one of the things that I know is that when I am not rooted, grounded, and the vision, believe it or not, having a vision is part of that grounding process, then I actually, what happens to me? I have accidents. I fall. I go flying through the air. I mean, I fell off my steps the other day. Well, it was about a month ago, right? So when we are not living our truth, and the closer we get to knowing that, then the more these kind of things happen, because it says, better than this, right? And so pay attention to being grounded in the divine and the metaphor of the rooting in the divine, and then the connection with the divine. And I just love that pull of being rooted to the divine and connected with the higher power, our higher source, whatever you choose to call it. So I'm going to invite you right now, and then I'm going to finish my story with the 7 steps after the meditation. So if you go ahead and just close your eyes, and I want you to think about if you know about chakras or into it, it doesn't really matter, but the root chakra or the base of your tailbone. And I just want you to imagine that it is like the trunk of a tree, not a little tiny cord. It's like the trunk of the tree, the width of your seat. And it is sending down into the earth a rootedness, and the roots start coming off of it and folding into the things that are down in the core of the earth and go to the center of the earth. Just feel that and let that trickle down into the earth. And now I want you to imagine that energy coming up through the center of you and out the top of your head and sprouting out like the branches of trees into the higher power. And it's usually really accessed behind, like where kind of our third eye is, but also up, like almost where you would think there is that opening to the divine. And feel the growth, the rootedness and the growth. And imagine the branches, the leaves, the fruit on the tree of who you are, mingling up there in with the higher power. And that you are the spark of bringing joy and beauty and creativity and freedom, both to your life. And just by you doing that in your own life, you are empowering other people through that energy of loving yourself, of sharing your kindness, of being your goodness. And it's great when we take action, but just being is the most important part to empower other people. How do you think about other people, whether they're politicians or whether it's events in the world? Is it scary for people to walk down the images in your mind, right? Or are you blessing? That's one of my favorite things, bless your heart. the divine in me recognizes the divine in you. And just always let everything that comes from you and emanates out from you is that love, that spark of the divine, and you will change the world. So just breathe in that rootedness and that connection to your higher power, and come back into the trunk of the tree. And go ahead and open your eyes. I have one more story that I want to share with you that relates to the 7th step, just do it. And this actually happened maybe 30 years ago, before I knew or understood the universal principles of this. Once we know them, just like we know the law of aerodynamics and we can fly, when you know the law of miracles, they'll happen anyway. You'll look in your life, you've created miracles, but once you know the steps and you practice it and you do it consistently, you will create everyday miracles and miracles on demand, like I did with that. Now, my husband was the doubting Tom in the family, right? But he knew enough to trust me. And that's where the phone call came from. And it's kind of like probably the blessing of his parents go, okay, now it's time, send him that money, whatever it is, whatever story you make up about it. But here's a story about 30 years ago. I met this young girl, and she was in high school and I was an adult, and she was in high school, and we were chatting, and she said, I would love to I'm graduating. And I said, well, what would you love to do for your graduation? And she says, I'd love to go to Hawaii. And I'd love to go with some of my friends. And I said, well, do it. Just do it, right? Step number 7, just do it. And she says, oh, my mom is a single mom, and she has been so amazing taking care of me. I could never ask this of her. And I said, well, what about your dad? And she says, my dad's been out of the picture. I haven't even heard from him in 5 years. And so I said, it was back in the day, 30 years ago. Remember how you could call the airlines and you could book a ticket and you didn't have to pay for it, and they'd hold it for you for 3 days. Remember that? That was back in the day, right? And so I said, hey, just, go find your favorite flight to Hawaii and book it, and tell your friends at school that you want to go with you that, hey, you're looking at putting this together and you want to do this. And look at the hotel you want to go stay in, and, book that. You don't have to pay for that yet, and just see what happens. And 2 days after this process, she goes, I've been telling my friends, and guess what? Their parents are paying their way and they get to go. And I don't think I'm going to get to go. And this was my idea. And I said, no, let's turn that thinking around. We don't know what's going to happen. Do you want to go? Let's put it on again. Put it on as if you're going. And so she did. Yes. The next day she called me and she said, I haven't heard from my dad in 5 years, but he called me and said, hey, you're graduating. I know I haven't been in your life. What can I do? Now, if she wouldn't have had that in place, she would have said, oh, a nice pair of shoes for prom, or prom graduation, or graduation dress. But because she had that vision and that dream, she says, I want to go to Hawaii. And he said, bing, done. And she and her friends went to Hawaii. Now, we want to start creating miracles in our lives on demand, because it is very important for us to bring this work into the world. So believe in yourself, believe in the divine, and know that the law of miracles is available to you. And I am sharing the 7 steps with you, either in that PDF or Barbara will send it out. So enjoy creating miracles in your life. And as usual, I love this community and I love being there. And now I love Zoom, so I can do it from home.
my
Yes.
goodness.
Now we are hearing an echo, Barbara. Yeah.
I know. So let me get off of that. Here we go.
Okay.
No, I put you down and I had you on, whatever
Yeah.
they call that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
In any case, oh my. Well, for the people that are here and me, because I always go back and look at it again. Patricia, is filming it, and so for a few people, regular people that are usually here, I know what they're doing. They're just going to watch it this afternoon or
Yes.
whenever.
I'm
You'll be
saying hi
there, and
to all of them as well.
there you go.
Yeah.
And as you say, it all was very clear on my screen. So, hey, Christy, it's so nice to have you back. What did I figure? 7 years now, but were an important part of our church at that time. So let me just go ahead and announcements would include that you'll be getting your newsletter next. What is April 1st? Saturday. So as usual, our spiritual leader will be at church on the first and third Sunday. And now she just called me this morning and she's going to be there on the 4th. Nope, not the 4th. She's going to be there on Easter. That's the second Sunday. Wow, Look at you. All right, so she's going to be there for Easter Sunday at church. She's going to give you a call, Bill. Whereas I'll be Zooming.
I'll be playing music.
Okay, well, she'll be, you can let her know. And I'll be talking to Peter DeLong on Easter Sunday in Hawaii. And we're going to do a Zoom before, for a short while anyway, on Easter Sunday. So that's another thing going on. So there you go. And that'll, of course, be in your email. And we have Pat Palmer on the 4th Sunday. Easy living sounds like a good talk. And then at the end of the month, we are going to have an at church, April 30th, Community Sunday with Sarah Merlin. And that will be really fun, but that's all in your email that's coming up. So, okay. Let's wait a minute. Where's my schedule here? All right. Well, yeah, donations are greatly appreciated. Mail to Unity, P.O. Box 755, Lower Lake 95457. And the prayer for protection. We know. I guess we can go. Just remember this beautiful prayer for us all and how important it is. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, because I am, and all is wonderful. Okay, Bill, your turn.
Peace song. Here we go. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let